Book two, this is Alan. I'm here for a tag on Tag Tuesday. I haven't done one of these in a long time. So this is the self-aware reader tag. It was created by Courtney Federer. I will leave a link to the original tag video down below. And let's go with prompt number one. If I can read my writing. What draws you into a novel story? Makes you want to keep reading? Plot, characters, writing style, atmosphere, or something else? Well, currently I'm reading this book here, Wild Minds. I hope you can see that. Running a little bit closer. It's called Wild Minds, and it's the artists and rivalries inspired the golden age of animation. And it's by Melton Reed Melton Bueller. Comes out on December the 1st. And in this book, it's what drew me in and kept me reading is the not so much of the plot, it's the writing style and the atmosphere at the time. Because you're looking at something that took place back during the early part of the uh, of the 20th century, the 1900s, 1910s, 1920s, when you have a lot of animators, cartoonists who are trying to uh, help their craft, so to speak. And these are ones that have before Walt Disney. Walt Disney does appear, but there are some that had created the craft of animation, so to speak, before Walt Disney came along. So that yeah, so it's the writing style basically, and that's what has to do with a lot of the books that I read. It's the writing style. There's one book in particular that's on the for the Booker Prize. It's called The Shadow King, and it's a finalist for the Booker Prize. I have no idea why that book is on there because the writing style is horrible. It is terrible. I don't know why they put it on there in the first place. So yeah, writing style has to do more than plot or characters for me. Number two, what is a trope that immediately turns you off from reading a novel or story? Well, certain tropes. I used to read a lot of YA when I started. In fact, I read about 70 books, 70 YA books before I went into other uh, genres. And one of the tropes they had was the teenager, this girl who didn't know she has magical powers before, and she is able to do everything, conquer the world, and you come up with a love triangle, and it happens to be your best friend at the time who's the antagonist, and yeah, that one, and it's so intrusive. The other tropes there's are the which started with the Gone Girl, and those type of tropes have been going on and on and on with so many like a girl in the title, and they all sound the same. And then you have the one where the billionaire and this woman shows up uh, and to write it, I think to write a story about him, and I forgot the name of it, but that there's so many now stories, basically a hot and spicy type stories where the billionaire and this woman shows up, and the same way it was with vampires. It just kept growing like that. Okay, number three. What appeals to you when you're reading nonfiction and wants to make you keep reading? Well, I'll go back again to the Wild Minds. What appeals to me is the story itself, because interested in cartoons, interested in animation. In fact, I have my Bugs Bunny coffee mug that I showed you, And it's basically the story and how the author presents the story. Same way with a lot of the other books. God's Crucible, Islam in the Making of Europe, 570 to 1215. Interested in that time period, that time frame. Interested about uh, how it came about. And the author does a very good job of it. Uh, a religious type book, Justification of God, that's a moral philosophies, nonfiction. And I enjoyed this one. I haven't read all of it, but it seems very good. It goes when I'm interested in it. And basically, it's more of what you're interested in that appeals to the reader. Number 4, what is a trope in nonfiction that will turn you off from your reading experience? Well, a trope for nonfiction is one of those ones in which it will have on the title of the book, it will say, you know, say something like, oh, who stopped Nazi Germany? Who stopped Adolf Hitler? And this is on every single book, it seems like. Now, if all these books, and there's like hundreds of these things, what the title is. And I have the title and that little subtitle which says, they stopped Hitler Germany, they stopped Nazism and things like this. And you're sitting there wondering, well, if they did this, then the war should have ended like a couple years ago before it even ended. Oh, I don't like that. Another thing that I don't like is in nonfiction is first person. I read 3 books in first person this year, and I didn't like any one of them. And one had to do with a biography of Sarah Bernhardt. Especially didn't like that one. It was just written very badly. Number 5, what would you say you read for pleasure, enjoyment, or more to learn and exercise your brain? Basically, a little bit about both. I'm going to learn, exercise your brain, and that probably has to do with this one here, God's Crucible. Learn more about the Russian involvement in World War II and the Germans attacking Russia during World War II. Exercise your brain, that would have to do with this one, the Book of Psalms by Robert Alter. That's not enjoyment, that's more of an exercising your spiritual type of a brain. Yeah, we have wisdom books. I have this one here, The Lord of Ireland, which basically is an encyclopedia of myth, legend, and romance. Basically, an encyclopedia, and you learn more about the things in Ireland. So it's basically, yes, it's basically exercising the brain. For an enjoyment, would probably have to be something like, excuse me, I'm just looking back at my shelf. Enjoyment, something like, this one here, The List by The Visit by Frederick Durmont, which actually was made into a movie starring Ingrid Bergman and Anthony Quinn. And that's basically just an enjoyment. Number 6, what type of books are you likely to rate more highly and enjoy more overall? Brain candy, pleasure, enjoyment, books on brain protein, or learning exercise books. Well, I just pointed out to several, excuse me, several of and answered number 5. So I go on number 7. Do you have any a sense earlier of what books you're reading will be a 5-star read, or if you don't rate books has a book surprised you in this regard? I actually start out the book with 5 stars. And then as I go into the book, something occurs like the writing style. I'll start knocking off a star. And then the last question, question number 8, considering books you've rated 5 stars in the past, or if you don't rate them, books you really love, do you think you will feel the same way about them now? Why or why not? Well, I don't reread books except for the books in the Bible. And yeah, and so it's kind of the ones I've rated 5 stars. I have to go back and look at my Goodreads page to see which ones I rated 5 stars, to see if I changed my opinion on them. So I'm not sure about that one. Well, this has been the Self-Aware Reader tag by Courtney Ferreter. If you haven't done this tag, be sure to do it. It's a very good tag, and thank you for watching.